Well, the difference between heaven and hell. Now, I'm about to give y'all my own personal descriptions on the difference between the two places. They both exist on earth, and they surely exist in the afterlife, I truly believe. So, first thing is heaven. How do we picture heaven, literally? Now, in the Bible, it says it completely different, but in my own words, heaven is the dwelling place of God, where you will dwell and be underneath His presence while worshiping Him and serving Him. You know, heaven is a place of pure and perfected wonder, bliss, peace, divine love and laughter, happiness, just full of adventure, just full of exploring, full of creation, positivity, just everything. Everything positive you can imagine heaven got. And at the same time, prayer works too, man. It does. A lot of people are saying that they don't know how to pray to God. They assume that God won't answer your prayers. He sure does. Like, literally, when you're on God's time, yeah, you'll definitely see the changes as time goes by. And all I can say is that it's a beautiful thing when you pray and have faith and believe that everything will get better. It doesn't matter what people in this lifetime says. If they're looking at you crazy, then let them look at you crazy. If you tell them that you believe in God and that you believe Jesus died for our sins and that He rose up on the third day on Sunday, Easter, and people look at you like you're crazy, then let them look at you like you're crazy. Because at the end of the day, they won't understand you. They won't get it. They know that at the end of the day, everyone is so absorbed by sin. And I want to go into the deep details on how I'm looking at things like politics, this and that. Literally, I would want to tell y'all what I truly think about that. But that's a video for another day. But yeah, heaven is literally is believed to be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful realm where you're underneath God. Everything around you is purely and perfectly positive, vibrant, full of colors you have never seen before. It's believed that you'll see colors that you've never seen on Earth, here on Earth. It'll generally be like something, just like I said, beyond human comprehension, literally. That's why I always keep telling people that at the end of the day, I can't change you, but I can certainly make a difference. And even if it involves me just telling you to just believe in God, believe that everything is going to be alright, it doesn't matter what the hell you're going through in your life. At the end of the day, days will get better. You just have to believe it. And it's not hard to believe. Literally, as long as you have a Bible app or an actual Bible or at least just take advantage of people who give you good advice on how to live your life in peace, harmony, and do good, then you all set. But other than that, you're just going to be left confused, irritated, wanting violence, and that what leads me into describing what hell is. Now, hell, on the other hand, nobody wants to think about that place. Now, with that place, You can already guess. A place filled with hate, torment, anxiety, depression, anger, crying, sadness, humiliation, this and that. Everything is just purely negative. Nobody wants to go to hell, nor does anybody want to live their life on earth like hell. Now, everybody is encouraged to live their life like heaven, literally. Now, for example, look at these. These are beautiful. Imagine seeing trees like this in heaven, but they're way more vibrant. The colors look way more different than what you see them now. Look at that. Now, at the end of the day, anything that happens like whatever happens in life, it's reality. A lot of people just have a hard time accepting reality for what it is. I am starting to accept reality for what it is. I'm slowly but gradually, because at the end of the day, I don't want to live my life like hell. I don't want nobody to live their life like hell. But because of life's struggles, and more importantly, mental health, because that's one big key point right there. Because when your mental health is a little bit to mostly unstable, then you're most likely going to be living your life like hell if you don't take care of your mental health. Because it seems like mental health is the key factor to, living your life like heaven. If you want to live your life like heaven, you shouldn't have any negativity in your, you shouldn't have not a single negative thought in your head. You shouldn't be stressing at all. You shouldn't be worrying about anything. You shouldn't be depressed. You shouldn't be anxious. You shouldn't be left confused or whatever the case is. You shouldn't be left like that. At the end of the day, heaven and hell exists, not just in the afterlife, but on earth too. Believe me, it does. Both of them exist. And all I can say and recommend is that you live your life like heaven. It doesn't matter what you're going through in your life. It doesn't matter how bad your mental health is. Once you start believing that everything's going to get better, listen to the people who give you advice. That's for sure. And you have to apply that into your life. If you just take somebody's advice but don't apply it into your own daily routine, look at that. What does that tell you? I know point blank that whenever someone gives me advice, I'm really going to take that into consideration. I'm actually going to try and apply that into my daily routine. Whatever I do every day, I tend to apply it. That's literally it. And yeah, I really do encourage other people to do so as well. Like I said, I can't change y'all, but yourselves. But I can sure as heck make a difference, like I always say over and over and time again. You can't change anybody, but you can definitely make a difference for them, that's for sure. So, what I strongly suggest for any of y'all going through some shit in y'all's lives, and no, I'm not sugarcoating this whatsoever, because everyone's going through some shit in their lives. But people who are going through it, or people who are actually trying to get their stuff under control or get their mental health under control, just give all your problems to God. Give all your problems to Him. That involves you reading the Bible, reading certain scriptures, and literally just taking at least a few minutes of your day to just pray with all your heart, be completely truthful, honest, sincere when you do your prayers, and then after a while, just do a nice praise and literally just watch what God does. It's not gonna happen right away, point blank. That change is not gonna happen right away. When you're on God's time, it will literally take anywhere from hours to years for your prayer or prayers to get answered. But that is on God's time. Literally. When it comes down to God, He has patience. When it comes down to Satan, he doesn't have patience. He just wants stuff right away. But with God, you're going to get it, but it requires you to have patience, humility, self-control, understanding, and everything else positive. Literally. And all I can say is that nobody wants to be in hell. Nobody wants to go to hell. Nobody wants to live their life like hell. Nobody does. But a lot of people are blind of the truth, and that's why people are still sticking with their sins. People are still sticking with their mental health problems, refusing help, refusing to, turn to God. Like, literally, it's sad, but at the end of the day, God gave us our choice on what we want to do. Whether that's to believe in Him and accept His love and trust His process, or otherwise people go through hell. They don't want to listen to the truth. They just want to believe in lies. It is what it is. But you never know. You never know. One day, the truth will definitely send a lot of people free. The truth will set you free. But people who don't want to hear the truth, they ain't going to be free. They're going to be stuck. They're going to be confused because they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to understand it. They don't want to know it. They don't want to believe it. That's them. It's sad, but it is what it is. But yeah, I just figured I give you guys a little bit of a rundown on the difference between heaven and hell. I probably didn't do too much of a good job, describing the differences between the two, so I probably didn't do too much of a good job on that. Otherwise, I probably might have to do a part 2, maybe. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, but I figured I'd just give y'all a little bit of a tidbit on the difference between the two. Like I said, this is gonna have to be a part 2, maybe. If not, then whatever other topic comes to mind, I'll be sure to either post about it or upload it. But yeah, I just thought I'd tell y'all that, hopefully it hits you somewhere in the spirit. Hopefully, I hope in some way. Yeah, God bless. Make sure y'all keep y'all's head up, point blank. God's with you 100% through the thick and thin. And just live your life like heaven. Live your life like heaven. It doesn't matter how hard it is. It's doable. Just live your life like heaven, please. God bless y'all.